Any individual who is afraid to return to their home country because they have been harmed in the past or because they may suffer harm in the future is eligible to request asylum in the United States. Asylum is a very important form of immigration relief that can provide legal status in the U.S. and can prevent the deportation of individuals whose lives are in danger in their home countries because of certain protections. Throughout this video, we will show you a mental technique that you can apply as you prepare to present your asylum case. Remember, your case is in your hands. Memorize these 5 questions and make sure that your asylum application, your supporting evidence, and testimony all account for these 5 questions in detail. By doing this, you will be covering 5 of the most important elements to consider in an asylum case. What? Who? Why? Police? Another place? What? The first element in an asylum case is the what. This means if you have suffered harm or been threatened in the past, what was the harm you suffered or the threat made against you? What happened in your country that made you leave? What harm are you afraid of in the future? The asylum law only recognizes specific attacks as persecution. There are several forms of persecution. Generally speaking, an act of persecution is an action that puts someone's freedom, health, or life at risk. Usually, it is easier to demonstrate that an act can be considered as persecution if it places you in immediate danger. Normally, it is not enough to say that there is a lot of violence in your country. The harm or threats must be against the person seeking asylum. What happened to you, or your children, or your relatives? Who? The second element is the who. You have to explain. Who committed the harm or persecution against you? Who made threats against you to harm or persecute you? Or who do you fear that will harm or persecute you in the future? It is important to explain to the judge who threatened you or harmed you, and to be able to demonstrate the severity of the situation that forced you to leave. If you don't know for sure who harmed you or made threats against you, you must consider who you think was responsible for this harm. It is not enough to say that everyone knows that certain person is dangerous, because the judge will consider this as gossiping. It can be difficult, but if possible, provide examples of other situations where the same group or person that persecuted you inflicted harm on other individuals. Why? Next, you have to explain the why. Why did they choose you? Why do you think they harmed you or may attack you in the future, and not someone else? If other people are also being attacked, what characteristics do they all share in common? Of course, we cannot know for sure what the person that wants to harm us is thinking, but most times, we can have an idea of the motives or reasons why others want to harm us. Why were you considered a target? Why did they want to harm you? It is important to consider if the why, the reason why you were seen as a target, has something to do with your identity. Each one of us, as human beings, are unique. That's why there are so many characteristics that are unique to us that we cannot change. Characteristics such as race, religion, nationality, political views, and other aspects of our personality that cannot be changed, and we shouldn't be forced to change, and that define us as a group within our society. Unique traits such as sexual orientation, gender, nationality, social status, age, or affiliation to indigenous groups, political views, or career choice. Sometimes, we don't see ourselves as being part of any specific group within our society, but maybe, in the eyes of others, we are. Police, government. The fourth element to win an asylum case is to be able to demonstrate if the police or the government can protect you or can control whoever wants to harm you. If it was the police or the government who did harm to you, you must explain. In other cases, the person or the group threatening or harming you is not associated with the government, but they are powerful enough in your home country that no one can stop them. If the police or the government were not able to protect you, you will have to explain this. As always, it is important to explain how you know this. It is not enough to say that the police is unable to help, even though it may be true. The judge will need to know how you concluded that the police was unable to protect you. Did you ask for help? Do you know anyone that asked for help in the past? Do you know if they are involved with the government in any way? Have you seen in the news if people have gone to the police? What happened? Specific examples will demonstrate to the judge that your case is not based on rumors or gossips. Another place. The fifth asylum element is relocation. If one is requesting asylum in the U.S., one supposedly does not have the possibility to live safely in any other place within their home country. If you are fleeing from a big or small country, you will have to explain to the judge the reasons why relocation to a different part of the country was not a reasonable option. If the person or the group that wants to harm you would be able to find you in a different place, you will have to explain why you think so. If relocation to other places was not an option due to a different reason, for example, lack of jobs, no means to relocate, or fear of being at risk in a different place, etc., you will have to explain these reasons to the judge as well. This is more complicated for individuals fleeing bigger countries such as Mexico or Brazil, because the U.S. government thinks that you have more chances of relocating and finding a safer place to live. When you are testifying, do not generalize. Say your story in full detail, as if it was a movie or a soap opera. Start with the first incident, explain the worst incident thoroughly, and end with the last incident. Remember that the asylum hearings are confidential. This means that the U.S. government won't share what you explain to the judge with other people, whether they are in the U.S. or any other country. It's very important that you give detailed information to the judge. Omitting important information can be a problem for getting a successful asylum case. Remember to say only the truth. When you are filling out applications for immigration relief, provide evidence, or testify, you are under oath. Lying to a government official under oath is a crime and can be used as a reason to deny asylum. If you don't have any evidence, explain what type of evidence you could get in your country if you had the opportunity. Do not forget that no one is more familiar with your situation than yourself. Nobody can tell your story better than you.